Hello everybody, Dave here, and I've had a number of friends ask me about cell phones, and over the past year or so there's been some buzz about 5G, and a lot of people concerned about it, wondering if there's any safety or health concerns, and not really understanding what's coming out. And I've also had questions about radio and transmitters and cell towers and hydro lines or power lines, and also 5 gigahertz internet routers and things like this. So to help put friends at ease from various social circles and geographical locations around the world, I thought I'd make a series of videos explaining a bit of what I know now that I've got some time on my hands. My day job has been teaching at the community college level and teaching for as a technical instructor for universities both in Ontario and now in Nova Scotia. I've been doing this for over 10 years, teaching electronics, physics, chemistry, biology, mostly electronics though. And so from that background, I'd like to share with you my understanding of what's going on with 5G and 5 gigahertz, what the difference is, and allow you to make decisions based on the information I present to maximize your enjoyment and your utility of these devices, but also allow you to make decisions that will maintain health and safety for all concerned. In terms of my background, I went to Sheridan College. I studied electronics engineering technology and enjoyed it so much I wanted to teach it, so they said, well, you should get your bachelor's degree. So I went off to Lakehead University and upgraded to a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and came back and started teaching at Sheridan College, night school, and then eventually through the day, part-time, temporary, or casual, and asked, well, what should I do to improve my chances of full-time permanent? And they suggested a master's degree. So they upped the bar, and I decided, okay, I'll start studying advanced robotics at the University of Guelph. We looked at artificial intelligence. A lot of my studies were involved with looking at how nature operates, how cells inside an animal or human send signals to each other. But from one cell or one neuron to the next, there's chemistry involved, there's electronics involved, or electricity involved. We've got electricity flowing through our bodies, controlling our hearts, our muscles, our brain waves, etc. There's some electrochemical stuff going on there, and so we studied this in order to mimic it with robots. How can we get a robot to navigate a maze based on how a human or an animal might navigate the same maze? What can we learn from biology in order to bring this forward into artificial intelligence? And part of the University of Guelph research, being an agricultural university as well, they were concerned with, well, how can we make it easier for a robot to, say, pick a tomato, recognize that it's ripe by smell or by color or by sense or whatever else, in the same way that a human would decide it, so that a human doesn't have to bend over and have ergonomic issues picking tomatoes all day, for example. We could get a robot to do the same job if the robot could recognize things the same way we do. So I did some studies in computer vision, 3D graphics, mapping and location and so forth. Position came up in 2010 to teach here in Halifax without having to chase the bar quite so much. So that's what's brought me here, and now I find a whole bunch of friends asking me questions about 5G. So without further ado, what I'd like to do today is show you the rough table of contents I've been thinking about lately, and the goal is to make a series of about a number of videos, maybe 5 or 10 videos, describing each topic from the basics, and each video will build on the previous. But if you understand enough of the previous video, feel free to skip ahead to one in question. So I use my smartboard to good use here, because you don't need to see what I'm writing. on the board. But so we've got our introduction out of the way. That's lesson 0. Intro. Biography. And we've talked a little bit about the motivation for doing this. Friends and family all over Canada and other countries too have been asking, hey, or posting questions on Facebook, hey, what does anybody think about this or that with regards to 5G? And rather than repeat myself to each friend and try and remember what I posted a month ago and copy and paste it, I figured I'd make a series of videos and explain in some detail the science behind 5G and 5 gigahertz and what the difference is. So to start off, we'll review some, I'm going to say junior high or high school physics. Most importantly, or I suppose as a background, we're going to start with energy. That's kind of the basis of where all of this starts off. Once we've got that done, we're going to look at power. So these will probably be 2 separate videos, and let's underline this in red. Oop, my red didn't switch. Oh well. Let's do red. Okay, so power is an important consideration moving forward with the discussion of 5G, or any other G for that matter. We also need to talk about frequency. Frequency is one of the main concerns that I hear. I hope to put some level of ease regarding frequency out there. And let's scroll my page down a bit. Extend my page. There we go. So once we've got power and frequency discussed in measurable quantities, then we can go on to describe various technologies. So as you know, or hopefully you know, cell phones work on radios, radio frequencies and radio power. Just like a set of children's walkie-talkies to some extent. There's a little more sophistication and circuitry involved, but in terms of what's going through the air, the idea is pretty much the same. So we're going to start by looking at AM radio. We'll explain how that works. FM radio is a little more complicated, but it is more of a basis for cell phone technology. And then we'll look at cell phone. And this might actually be a series of videos in itself, maybe 3 minutes each, perhaps, or more. What I want to do with these is explain each generation. So I guess you could say generation 0. Before we had cell phones, what did we do? There were communication techniques that were wireless. So we'll call this 0G for lack of a better term. I'd like to look at 1G. We didn't call it back then because we didn't know what was coming next. But these were your analog phones. Can't spell analog today. Analog. 2G, and so on. We get up to 5G. So this is the sort of game plan I've got floating around in my head. Thought I'd finally put it down on paper or smartboard, get this little project started. I do have a better webcam on order, so we'll wait for that to arrive, thanks to Amazon. But for now, we'll start with this. This will conclude this video. I'm sure there's a like and a subscribe button and an alert button, so if you click subscribe, you'll be able to access my channel a little easier. If you click the alert button, when I post a new video, you'll get a notification about that. Feel free to watch them in any order you like, but this is the general order I plan to do things in. So with that said, I'm going to close my webcam here and see you in the next video.